Preface and Chronology of John James Audubon. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. John James Audubon by John Burroughs. Preface. The pioneer in American ornithology was Alexander Wilson, a Scotch weaver and poet, who emigrated to this country in 1794, and began the publication of his great work upon our birds in 1808. He figured and described 320 species, 56 of them new to science. His death occurred in 1813, before the publication of his work had been completed. But the chief of American ornithologists was John James Audubon. Audubon did not begin where Wilson left off. He was also a pioneer, beginning his studies and drawings of the birds probably as early as Wilson did his, but he planned larger and lived longer. He spent the greater part of his long life in the pursuit of ornithology, and was of a more versatile, flexible, and artistic nature than was Wilson. He was collecting the material for his work at the same time that Wilson was collecting his, but he did not begin the publication of it till 14 years after Wilson's death. Both men went directly to nature, and underwent incredible hardships in exploring the woods and marshes in quest of their material. Audubon's rambles were much wider, and extended over a much longer period of time. Wilson, too, contemplated a work upon our quadrupeds, but did not live to begin it. Audubon was blessed with good health, length of years, a devoted and self-sacrificing wife, and a buoyant, sanguine, and elastic disposition. He had the heavenly gift of enthusiasm, a passionate love for the work he set out to do. He was a natural hunter, roamer, woodsman, as unworldly as a child, and as simple and transparent. We have had better trained and more scientific ornithologists since his day, but none with his abandon and poetic fervor in the study of our birds. Both men were famous pedestrians and often walked hundreds of miles at a stretch. They were natural explorers and voyagers. They loved nature at first hand, and not merely as she appears in books and pictures. They both kept extensive journals of their wanderings and observations. Several of Audubon's, recording his European experiences, seem to have been lost or destroyed, but what remain make up the greater part of 2 large volumes recently edited by his granddaughter, Maria R. Audubon. I wish here to express my gratitude both to Miss Audubon and to Messrs. Charles Scribner's Sons for permitting me to draw freely from the life and journals just mentioned. The temptation is strong to let Audubon's graphic and glowing descriptions of American scenery and of his tireless wanderings speak for themselves. It is from these volumes, and from the life by his widow, published in 1868, that I have gathered the material for this brief biography. Audubon's life naturally divides itself into 3 periods: his youth, which was on the whole a gay and happy one, and which lasted till the time of his marriage at the age of 28; his business career which followed, lasting 10 or more years, and consisting mainly of getting rid of the fortune his father had left him; and his career as an ornithologist, which, though attended with great hardships and privations, brought him much happiness, and long before the end, substantial pecuniary rewards. His ornithological taste and studies really formed the main current of his life from his teens onward. During his business ventures in Kentucky and elsewhere, this current came to the surface more and more, absorbed more and more of his time and energies, and carried him further and further from the conditions of a successful business career. J. B., West Park, New York, January, 1902. Chronology. 1780. May 4th. John James LaForest Audubon was born in Mandeville, Louisiana. Paucity of dates and conflicting statements make it impossible to insert dates to show when the family moved to St. Domingo and thence to France. Possibly 1797. Returned to America from France. Here followed life at Mill Grove Farm, near Philadelphia. 1805 or 6. Again in France for about 2 years, studied under David the artist, then returned to America. 1808, April 8th, married Lucy Bakewell and journeyed to Louisville, Kentucky to engage in business with one Rozier. 1810, March, first met Wilson, the ornithologist. 1812, dissolved partnership with Rozier. 1808 to 1819, various business ventures in Louisville, Hendersonville, and St. Genevieve, Kentucky, again at Hendersonville, thence again to Louisville. 1819, abandoned business career, became taxidermist in Cincinnati. 1820, left Cincinnati, began to form definite plans for the publication of his drawings, returned to New Orleans. 1822, went to Natchez by steamer. Gunpowder ruined 200 of his drawings on his trip. Obtained position of drawing master in the college at Washington, Mississippi. At the close of this year took his first lessons in oils. 1824, went to Philadelphia to get his drawings published. Thwarted. There met Sully and Prince Canino. 1826, sailed for Europe to introduce his drawings. 1827, issued prospectus of his birds. 1828, went to Paris to canvass, visited Cuvier. 1829, returned to the United States, scoured the woods for more material for his biographies. 1830, returned to London with his family. 1830 to 1839, Elephant Folio, The Birds of North America, published. 1831 to 39, American Ornithological Biography, published in Edinburgh. 1831, again in America for nearly 3 years. 1832 to 33, in Florida, South Carolina, and the Northern States, Labrador, and Canada. 1834, completion of second volume of Birds, also second volume of American Ornithological Biography. 1835, in Edinburgh. 1836, to New York again, more exploring, found books, papers, and drawings had been destroyed by fire the previous year. 1837, went to London. 1838, published fourth volume of American Ornithological Biography. 1839, published fifth volume of Biography. 1840, left England for the last time. 1842, built house in New York on Minnie's land, now Audubon Park. 1843, Yellowstone River expedition. 1840 to 44, published the reduced edition of his bird biographies. 1846, published first volume of quadrupeds. 1848, completed quadrupeds and biography of American quadrupeds. The last volume was not published till 1854, after his death. 1851, January 27th, John James Audubon died in New York. End of Preface and Chronology.